rumours about a Firefly reboot will just not go away. Welcome to Sidetrack, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. Every few weeks, another story comes out that Firefly is going to be remade by Disney. And to be honest, I really hope all of those stories are false. I kind of hope Disney never remake Firefly for a couple of big reasons. Have a look at all of the proposed projects for Star Wars in 2022. The Book of Boba Fett is just the beginning. We're going to get Obi-Wan Kenobi series and there's about 6 others. There are loads and loads of projects. Disney are really good at squeezing every last drop of blood out of every stone they own. And they are desperate for more content. There is a lot of money being spent on these streaming services, Netflix, Amazon, and mainly Disney Plus, to create as much content as possible. They are completely at war with each other. So I actually genuinely believe that this story that was started by Giant Freaking Robot, which we know are a bunch of clickbaiting bellends, because it still gets talked about so much on social media, Facebook groups, and so on, I think Disney will take that as a massive big tick that this is an easy book, an easy project that will get interest. And at the end of the day, that's all they really care about. They get lots of interest on social media. People will watch the show. If it's good, great. If it isn't, there. But it's an easy win for Disney Plus. But this made me think, should they do it? And it came down to this. I basically have been trying to talk my son into watching Firefly. He's a big Nathan Fillion fan. He loves The Rookie. He loves Castle. He actually recently watched the entire series of Castle, all 8 series, back to back, straight through. He thinks Nathan Fillion is brilliant. So I went, look, there's this Firefly series. He's great in it. It's a show that Nathan Fillion, actually talked about wanting to buy a few years ago because he loves the show so much. Give it a go. And my son's like, well, tell me about it. What's it like? And I went, okay. It's a sci-fi show, so they're aboard a spaceship. He likes sci-fi. He loves sci-fi books and things, so I thought that was an easy one. Boom, done. Earth that was, as we've burned all through all the resources, we've poisoned the planet, so we moved to another solar system. We've terraformed all the other planets, and so there's this hierarchy. There's like the poorer people in the outer planets and the inner planets are the rich, more powerful people. And he's like, great, okay. And they had a civil war. Brilliant, okay, he's totally on board. And it's all like a Western in space. And that's when I lost him. And this comes down to basically one of the main reasons why Firefly was kind of unsuccessful in the first place. The premise, a big part of it, and a big part of why it actually worked and what made it so brilliant, is the Western in space part. That was a big problem with the show because even when I saw it, and I am the biggest brown coat in the world, even when I saw the initial adverts, I went, that looks silly. That looks stupid. I'm not watching it. And my son did amazing. Saying, I saw his eyes glaze over as soon as I tried to explain that part to him. As soon as I was trying to explain some of the episodes, I lost him. I was trying to explain to him that this is very much a character-driven show, though. And that as soon as you start watching it, you will fall in love with these characters. You will fall in love with Mal. You will fall in love with Wash and Zoe and River and Simon a little bit. And, and you will genuinely care what happens to them. Watch the show and don't think about it too much. And to be fair, he's about halfway through the series and I think he's converted. But the problem with it is but really this comes down to my problem with explaining to him why he should watch the show and why he struggled with it is why a remake won't work. It was very much Nathan Fillion and the other characters that made this show. And like something else, if we have a new show, it's either got to be a hard reboot where they basically forget the original show ever happened, or at very least, it'll be aboard a new ship, some things. They can reference the old series, but they won't really connect it. Or they do sort of a softer reboot and they try and bring some of the characters back. Now, characters like River and Simon could come back. Jane has aged quite badly, so I'm not 100% certain I want to see that, but it could happen. And Wash is obviously dead, but Zoe could come back. They've appeared in comic books together, and the comic books, again, is another reason why I'm certain Disney will bring this back, because they've been very popular. So a couple of these characters could return. But if I'm honest, without Mal, without Nathan Fillion, it's not going to work. The other characters cannot carry that show on their own, in my opinion. They might work as side thing, but let's be honest, Simon is not going to be a main character in any series. He's not interested enough. And the same goes for Zoe, really, and even for Jane. They cannot carry a show on their own. Nathan Fillion can. To be honest, I think actually Alan Tudyk could have done if they hadn't have killed him off. Either of those two characters, or hopefully those two characters together, if they'd have come back into a project without the rest of the cast, we'd have watched it and we'd have loved it. We wouldn't have cared about the rest of the cast. The rest of the cast come back without Nathan Fillion or without Alan Tudyk, it's not going to be the show. No one's going to really care. So in that case, I don't think they would do that. They might bring one or two of those characters back as a nod to the old series, but that would be about it. I think it's more likely, and also because so much time has gone by now since the series, I think they'll just do a hard reboot. Now for me, whether they do a hard reboot or not, you've got the basic premise of the series, and it's not a bad premise, it's a good premise. I like, Earth that was, burned out, gone to an event, blah, 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 moved on. You could bring that the Wild West thing. I'd tone it down a little bit, definitely, at very least for the advertisement. When you're advertising the series, don't focus so much on the Wild West and space bit. Have it in the show because it's what made Firefly, but maybe don't focus on it too much because it's also what turned a lot of people off. But then, move on with a new show. But to be honest, it's just a completely new show then, really. Calling it Firefly basically just, it's gonna get a lot of advertisement. It's gonna get a lot of people getting very angry about it, which kind of they actually quite like because no free advertisement is a bad thing. They'll love it when people get angry. People got really angry when the Star Trek: The Next Generation came out, and when Battlestar Galactica came out, and all these other projects. Even Lost in Space, when that was revamped, people went crazy. Not to the same degree, but they did. So these things happen, and I wouldn't get upset about it though. Basically, it's just a name. It doesn't take away anything from the original series. It's still going to be there for us to love and rewatch. It's just a new TV show, loosely based on something we used to love, with the same title. I would love it if they at very least got Nathan Fillion to come back as an executive producer, and I actually think that is potentially possible. I know he's very busy on The Rookie at the moment, but that is a TV series for me that isn't going to have like a 7, 8, 9 year series run. It's quite a limited premise to that series, that the point is that he's an older guy as a new copper. Once he's been experienced for a couple of years, he's not a rookie anymore. Really, does that show have the legs to keep going? So if that was to end, and Nathan Fillion wanted to return in Firefly, that could really work. Or if he wanted to return as an executive producer, I think that is something that could get fans on board. What do I think they're going to do with Firefly? I think Disney will make a series. I think it'll be called Firefly. I think it'll have very little, very loosely connected to the original series. I don't think any of the production people will be involved. And I very much doubt any of the actors will be involved. It'll just be a new show with an old title. And that's what I think. So please, leave a comment. Tell me, what do you think Disney are going to do with the Firefly franchise now that they own it? And if it does return, will it even be a shadow of its former self? If you are new to the channel as well, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, hit the like button, hit all of those little buttons and share it wherever the hell you like. And join us on Facebook. There's a link in the description. Also, we're on Twitter. Please go and tell me what you think on there, and you can go on Facebook and share all your memes and things. It's cool. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe. I'll see you next time.